Well, welcome everyone to this edition of this episode of Steve Tees Off. We were graced by Brad Ewart's presence again, which is fantastic. Thank you so much for coming.
Good to be here, Steve. I enjoy doing it. And
Thank you. This is
friends enjoy listening.
This is fun. This is going to be our Christmas special. Okay, as we are upon the season, and we are allowed to call it Christmas.
Well, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and a happy golf New Year.
Well, on my way here today, the lights are out in the malls, and the people have got the lights on the houses, and it looks like it's going to snow soon. I hope not, but the golf courses are still open.
They're still open. They're still open. They're still open. So I'm going to put my reading glasses on here just to help myself here. Now, Brad, one thing we've never talked about before, and I wanted to talk to you. The title of this episode is I put Golf Legends, Family, and Fair Play. Okay, but you also do trick shots. You're a trick shot artist. How did you get into trick shots? Like how does it?
Well,
like how do you?
There was a man named Bill Mawhinney, and Bill Mawhinney, he was based up in Chilliwack. Bill Mawhinney played in the Masters back in the early 60s. He won the Canadian PGA. He won the BC Open. He played PGA tournaments. Bill Mawhinney was a legend. And he was part of the local golf scene, coached many people many years ago in the 70s and 80s. And I went to a junior golf camp I was 13 years old at Meadowlands in Chilliwack, and Bill Mawhinney was there, and he did a trick shot exhibition for all of us kids. I watched it. I thought, hey, that's pretty good. And so afterwards, I practiced a couple of the shots, and maybe it was a few years later, not that many years later, I was about 16 years old. I was playing in the BC Open. In those days, kids, if we were good enough, we would enter, and if we could play, we'd get in. And I got into the BC Open up in Chilliwack, and on the practice range, I saw Mr. Mawhinney, and I went down and I showed him that I knew a couple of his tricks, and I showed him the tricks, and he went, "Hey, that's pretty good." He said, "Let me show you another one." He showed me another one, and I saw him again a year later, and I showed him how I could do that next trick, and it just evolved from there. And so I was always doing trick shots. When I was in college down in San Jose, I'd be on the range with the guys on the driving range, and I'd show them different trick shots, and I can tee a ball 3 feet in the air and hit it 200 yards like a baseball bat. It's not an easy shot, but some guys can do it. Most guys can't. And then when I went off to Japan in 1988 with Kelly Murray, we went to the Honma factory in Sakata in Japan. And at the Honma factory, I had decided at that time, I was an amateur then, that I was going to turn pro. And I turned pro. So I became a member of the PGA of Canada, and I had Mr. Mawhinney he died. I'm not sure what year it was, but I took with me the trick shot clubs to Japan, and I gave them all to Honma, and I said, okay, make them all Honma, and so they built me a 90-inch driver, but it's you can screw it apart like a pool cue. So I can screw it apart. It's illegal. You can't use it. And they made me clubs that had hinges on them, and I have one with a rubber hose. It's a radiator hose, and many other trick shots. And so once I had the trick shot clubs, I was doing exhibitions in Asia, in Japan, and then Kelly Murray and we went 2 years on the Asian PGA Tour. We would go 12 countries over 12 weeks, and each country we would do an exhibition. So whether it was the Singapore Open or the Hong Kong Open, the Thailand Open, every country we would do an exhibition. Not only would they pay us a fee to do the exhibition, but Honma would pay for it as well. They paid for everything for us, for our air travel and our hotel and everything. And so we did these in every country. And I did that in 1990 and 1991. I went to Japan for 1 year. I stayed for 5. And so when I lived in Japan, I did exhibitions, I did some trick shots, but I did other things as well. And then when I came home to Canada in 1994, something called the internet is there. So I put my I had a website, and I advertised my exhibitions, and I had a fee, as it was in US dollars, and I had a fee that was a local fee. I had a fee that was for USA, and then an international fee. And I did my most Switzerland. I went there for 5 weeks to do. They had their Swiss Golf Week, so every day I had to do a different exhibition for a different group of people in Switzerland. I did exhibitions in India, in New Delhi. That was fun. And in Calcutta, I did an exhibition in Calcutta once. There might have been 1,000 people there, but only 200 of them were golfers. The rest were, they'd heard something in the local newspapers about this guy Canadian guy doing trick shots, and they all climbed over the fence and came in to watch. I knew every ball that I hit out into the field wasn't coming back, because these balls are a commodity.
Yeah.
They're selling those.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I've done exhibitions across the USA. I'll never forget one time doing an exhibition in Arkansas where it was a pro-am for a grocery store chain, and they had Craig Stadler there, and they had Nick Saban there, the football coach, and I was there. And in my exhibition, I hit shots off my knees, but I don't want to get my pants dirty, so I put a towel down. Well, that's in violation of the Craig Stadler rule. So there I am doing an exhibition with Stadler watching.
The walrus.
The walrus watching, and I'm on one knee, and he goes, "Hey, that's against the rules." So I do it just for fun, and I still do it sometimes. I take out the trick shots, and kids like it.
I know they do.
Yeah,
I know they
like
do.
it.
I know they do. Absolutely know they do. Before we get into it, I want to mention that I'd like to thank this podcast. Steve's podcast is brought to you by Steve Tees Off. Is brought to you by RiversideGolf.ca and the fine folks down there, Kenny Poirier store there. I encourage everyone that's looking at any golf equipment to check them out. This being our Christmas episode, we have laid out here some things here that would make excellent Christmas gifts. One of them being here, which is, I've never seen, an 12-day Advent calendar. Now, that one there, you open it up, and each day you pop it out.
Each day you pop it out, you get another golf ball.
Get another golf ball.
Now, it was a Callaway ball, so it'll be a good ball.
For sure. That's cool. And we've got the Happy Gilmore ones here. We've got the lucky, the 4-leaf clover ones. We've got the retro football ones. We've got the barbecue ones. The golf balls have everything on them now. The days of the conservative approach to the game is they're over. They're all logoed up now, which is fine. Who cares?
Well, you can pre-order them, Steve, and you can get your name on it.
You get your name on them.
But I don't recommend that. Do you know why?
Why?
Well, a number of years ago, Bridgestone gave me a gross of balls, a dozen balls that had my name on it. So I gave my brother Greg, I gave him a couple of dozen balls. Well, and then I went back to Japan. I wasn't even here. And I had people when I get back saying, "Hey, I was playing Mayfair Lakes, or I was playing Hazelmere, and I kept finding balls with your name on it." He said, "I thought you weren't here." So, you can get the...
You don't recommend it.
No,
you don't recommend it. You don't recommend it. But now, like, this would be excellent here. Just, we can get this. We've got a stocking here, a Santa stocking here, and I'm going to reach into it, and just to give some gift ideas for those that are inclined to golf, and hopefully those people that are watching or listening to. I'm going to put my hand in here and pull out some gift ideas for those that have golfers in their family. Number one here is a round of golf.
A round of golf. Yeah, it's a great gift. If somebody in your family that, they play a lot of golf whether it's the local public course or one of their favorite courses up at Whistler or wherever.
Yeah.
get them around to golf.
Buy them around to golf.
Yeah,
Sure.
you can phone them and they'll either mail it to you or they'll send it to you.
For sure.
Buy them around to golf. That's a great gift.
That's a great gift. Okay. Let's reach into Santa's stocking here and we'll pull out number 2 here. Indoor golf. Sim golf. Simulated golf.
Simulating golf. Everywhere from start with your own little putting green in the living room where you can just get a nice little putting carpet, a return putting machine where you can putt while you're watching television, all the way to sim golf, to a nice indoor downstairs or in one of the rooms in your house, convert it into an indoor. And I've got some friends who have them, and they're a lot of fun.
Well, it's apropos to be talking about this, especially during the Christmas season. My wife and I went, and the first time we went to House of Golf in Langley, and we did have Jared, their general manager, on the podcast a week or 2 ago. We haven't released that one yet, but I'd never played sim golf before, and stupid me we decided that we were going to play St. Andrews, and I found out how to get out of the pot bunkers. I did. You take a 5-wood and you hammer it as hard as you can against the sod, and hopefully it kicks back out. Otherwise, you're dead.
How was it?
It was fantastic.
Good. Nice.
It was.
Very nice.
It was. It was. And I highly recommend anyone that hasn't done it. You're not on a golf course. Let's just be honest and straight about it. But it is fun. I have to admit, it is. It was a lot of fun. And would we do it again? And we would. It was lovely. It was fun. And the nice thing about it, and I'm not saying that there's bad male golfers, and there's bad female golfers. Let's get that straight, okay? You don't have to worry about losing a ball.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about anything.
No. Not getting wet. You're not getting rained on.
That's right.
No.
And
pace of play. You
betcha. Like it is. Now, it is. I did not realize how realistic it really is.
Well, Steve, that's even a gift there. Somebody can get a gift certificate to the House of Golf and
you betcha.
Go play some indoor golf and enjoy the indoor golf.
Let's reach in here to Santa's stocking here. Golf balls.
You can never go wrong with golf balls, and we've got
a bunch of golf balls here.
A bunch of golf balls there, and I have. If you can't get them Callaways, which are wonderful balls, you'll never go wrong with a dozen Titleist Pro V ones.
Yeah, those are gold.
The only thing my son gave me these, and he said, "You can't hit these," and I said, well, "I know," and he said, "You don't hit them hard enough. You got to hit them harder to make them spin." But I still like to hit them because for me, there's nothing better on the first tee than a brand new ball. Mm-hmm. And in that case, a brand new Titleist.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue. Number 1 name in golf.
Exactly.
No question. Okay, let's reach into the stocking here, and we'll go for number 4 here. A wedge or a driver, a pitching wedge, a sand wedge, whatever wedge. Everybody can use a wedge. And a driver.
Whether it's a golfer, you want to drop a hint to your significant other and say, "Look, I need a 56-degree." Vokey,
mm-hmm.
or I want to get a Callaway
or a Cleveland RTZ,
or I want to get the new Callaway driver or whatever.
Yeah.
Then drop that hint because that's a big ticket item. The wedge is going to cost you $400, and the iron, the driver is going to cost you $900 or $1,000. So put something add on your list. Drop the hint. Make sure she gets you the right one.
Or he gets her the right one.
Or he gets her the right one.
Right?
That's right. Women,
that's right.
They're always wondering, where do I go?
Okay, this is a backyard putting green.
Yeah, that's not asking for much, is it? The full meal deal, like the full-on backyard putting green.
Speaking of that, Mac Paulsenberg's got backyard golf, and it is 2 massive backyard putting greens with a sand trap, a fake sand trap, and a real sand trap. At what is the name of that the golf course? Sunnyside, Sunrise, Clayton Heights
Clayton Heights.
on Highway 10.
Yeah.
Nice little pitch and putt there, but they've got a nice practice facility.
Matt's a golfer.
Yeah.
He is a hardcore golfer.
Oh yeah.
And so whatever he's going to do, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And I haven't been there. I know I've seen it. I've heard about it. One day I want to go there.
Yeah. And it is.
It looks like a blast.
It was, and we took the grandkids there. Actually, we did take the
Oh, well
grandkids
done.
there when and they had a blast for
Well done.
almost 3 hours.
Yeah.
Just putting around. No, and they've got these. Highly recommended if you've got little ones, taking them there because they've got these not the wiffle balls. They've got the soft, spongy golf balls, which are cool to hit.
Well,
And
put
the
in a
kids
good
love it.
word for me. I'd like the Grizzly tour to come there next year.
Okay,
Sounds like a plan.
it's done.
Thank
Okay,
you.
let's reach into the stocking here, and a TrackMan.
Yeah, TrackMan or FlightScope. Again,
FlightScope.
these are high price items. Now, TrackMan can cost you between $30,000 and $40,000
Yeah.
for a good one.
Yeah.
However, FlightScope you can probably get in
Little
for
cheap.
somewhere around $5,000 to $8,000. TrackMan's better.
Yeah, well, TrackMan is the best.
TrackMan is that allows you. What that does, it allows you to know everything about your swing.
Yes.
And my son has a TrackMan.
Yeah.
And what he tells me, it's the best thing is for practice.
Yes.
Because it shows you many different shots, and you're hitting a bundle full of wedge shots at the same target. Well, that
That's right. And the thing, and this is the thing about the TrackMan, and having hit have had a number of sessions with the TrackMan, is that they're purposeful reps. Because when you go to the driving range and just pump balls, they're not necessarily purposeful reps. So you're practicing with purpose. And the analysis is right there directly to show you your club face, that's the beauty of it. It is. And when you use a plug for TrackMan and House of Golf, they're all TrackMan'd out there. They really are. You can't help but get better when you practice with purpose. And that's something that I think we tend to, when I hit a few balls to warm up before a round of golf, I see a lot of guys just wailing. Like they're just wailing away. They're not trying to, before a round of golf, I'm going there just to warm up, like just to get some rhythm, some cadence, that kind of thing. I'm not, and I'm probably the world's worst person to go to a driving range with because I don't enjoy it. But with the TrackMan, I actually do enjoy it because it's with purpose, because there's feedback right away. It's immediate. So you see, where if you're hitting a 56 degree or a 60 degree lob wedge, you see the spin, it's immediate. The feedback is immediate. So that, if you can afford that, anything like that, that will make you better.
That will make you better. It might make you a little poor.
But it might make you.
I had one guy. I said to him, I said, "Hey, that's a TrackMan. He's practicing at Burnaby Mountain up on the top floor, and he's get it all set up, and it was really look nice." And I said, "Hey, that looks like a pretty nice setup." I said, "What inspired you to get a TrackMan?" He said, "Well," he said, I was either going to join a golf course, or I was going to get a TrackMan," and he said, I got a TrackMan.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Okay, let's reach into Santa's stocking here again, and we'll pull one out here. And this one is golf shoes.
Golf shoes. And this is the time of the year. At Christmas, you want to buy something useful for somebody, not just a useful present that they're going to gift on to somebody else. Get them something they need.
Yeah.
Find out their shoe size, find out what they like, and go buy them a nice pair of shoes.
And in this climate here, you do need a good pair of winter golf.
Well, every golfer, most shoes you can wear year round, but you don't want to wear your good FootJoy leathers in the winter. But you can get a pair of shoes. And for kids, that was the time of the year for me. Christmas is when I would get my son new golf shoes, because he's going to need new shoes for the next season, and their feet are getting bigger. So you got to get him new shoes every year, and it's not easy to find equipment and for kids. So parents always have to be on the lookout for
golf shoes. Golf shoes.
Yep.
Okay, we'll reach down into.
Every golfer should have 2 pair.
Yes. GPS rangefinder.
Yeah, I'm an old-fashioned guy who still I can figure out my yardage just by pacing and by distance. I got a pretty good inner feeling of it. But the GPS rangefinder is such a good tool for every golfer. They now know how far they hit every club in the bag.
You know what? I've got a story. I was playing around a golf about 3 weeks ago at it was North Bellingham, and I forgot my rangefinder. And it was like trying to remember someone's phone number.
Oh my God.
I was so lazy. I became so reliant on that rangefinder that, and like I was embarrassed. I kind of was embarrassed because at North Bellingham, most of the golf carts, power carts, have it on there. Not at North Bellingham. So I was pacing off my distances in the gale force wind. And a funny little anecdote, story about that round of golf. I played golf because I usually play as a single. I was matched up with these two guys that had a Bentley golf cart.
Oh, nice.
And I laugh when I say this because here's Joe Schmuck in the shitty little golf cart that I rented from the golf course. And these guys are in a Bentley with doors that actually close, heating, and a stereo system in there.
Oh, very good.
You could feel the warmth when they walked out.
Oh yeah.
Not only that, they were great guys. We had a really fun time. But they were from Linden, Washington. And when I was leaving the parking lot, they were trying to get me to come over I see this massive truck and they've got a massive trailer and they've got a barbecue out. And they were calling me over to come and have a barbecue. I'm like, no, I'm going home.
Of course.
What else? What do you, I've seen them down in Palm Springs.
Yeah.
You know, in Scottsdale I have, but not up here at North Bellingham. It had big fatty tires on it and the Bentley logo on the front of it. Like, you know, could you just I wanted to, because it was cold out and windy too. It was really nice. It was one of those rounds where you about the third hole, you're going, why am I out here? It's it. But by the 10th, it started to get nice.
I've had a few of those rounds.
And it wasn't
by the third hole either. By the first tee. What am I doing?
What am I doing here? Anyway, let's dig into the stocking here and pull out another one here. New grips. This is a good one.
Yeah.
Because this is something that most golfers don't pay attention to. Their grips.
Very good. You get a new set of grips. It's like getting a new set of clubs. Yeah. And grips are not cheap. You're paying $10, $15 a grip. Yeah. You got 14 grips in your bag or 13 grips to do in your bag. You might even want to do your putter if it's that worn. Yeah. And so you get your grips done. Take them into Riverside Golf or take them into your local golf shop somewhere and get them done. And you'll have like a new set of clubs.
That's a good one. Okay. Let's reach in here. We're getting down here. Books, golf books.
Golf books. That's I always like to get a coffee table book from somebody in my family. Every year I'd get golf courses of the world, and all these beautiful pictures of courses all over the world. And I'm pretty lucky. I've played 64 of the top 100 courses in the world, so I'm always trying to pick off another one along the way. But some of my books I keep forever. But everybody knew that I liked Arnold Palmer, so I looked in my collection and somebody in my family bought me an Arnold Palmer.
Arnie, Inside the Legend.
The Legend of Arnold Palmer.
There we go.
And then one of my favorites was a Nasty Bit of Rough by David Fairdy. This was in my stocking one year, and Fairdy's a tremendous writer. He's really good.
He's a funny guy.
So books are things that golfers like.
Yes, and I wish when you bring up books, it brings up magazines to my attention to books and magazines. And my father, bless his heart, who's not with us anymore, he didn't start golfing till he was in his 40s. Okay, so that's why I started as real young, because he got into it. But the Golf Digest magazine was like his Bible, and every issue that he would get, I swear to God, he bought every gizmo that you could possibly buy, every swing aid, everything. He would try and he would read this magazine from cover to cover, and you could see. And I used to laugh because, he'd go, yeah, you hit the ball further. You started when you were 8. I just started when we didn't have any money when us. But he had, I wish, and I have no idea where that collection of Golf Digest, and he had books. He bought everything he possibly could because he was going to read his way into becoming a better golfer.
Well, Golf Digest was like the Bible of golf. When I was a kid, that's on my Christmas list every year, a subscription to Golf Digest, not Golf Magazine.
Yeah.
Golf Digest.
You betcha. You bet. Okay, let's get in here and we'll pull out, which one have we got here now? Oh, golf lessons from a PGA professional golfer.
Somebody near where you live. You don't have to go a long distance to get your friend a lesson, just somewhere near where you live. Phone up, get him a lesson. And a lesson from a PGA of Canada pro. Yes. Most of them know what they're doing. And go in and get a refresher lesson if that's what you need for over the winter. You got to learn your basic fundamentals. Just get a little check on your grip. Are you holding it right?
Yeah.
Your alignment. Are you lined up properly?
Yeah.
And ball position. Have you got that in the right place?
Yeah.
And then you're working on your swing arc. And there's little tips that the pro can help you with.
A lesson.
And we're all getting older. And as we get older, we have to face those facts. And so a good pro can help you with your swing if you're getting older, where you can make those shots that you're
play within yourself.
Play within yourself.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
Get a lesson.
Get a lesson. Okay. A glove. A new glove.
A glove. Yep. A great stocking stuffer.
A stocking stuffer. A golf glove.
Find out what their glove size is. Just casually ask them, hey, what's your glove size? And make sure you get them if they're a right-handed golfer, they want a left-handed glove. And vice versa.
Yes.
So make sure you get them the right hand for the right glove for the right hand.
Very good. Now we're down. Oh, that was it. Now I think you have a few more goodies with you there, Brad.
Okay, so
and
I always like it when I would buy stuff for a golfer. I want to buy them something that's useful. This is a putting mirror. So a putting mirror, when you do your practice, it's all about repetition. Mm-hmm. It's all about alignment. So you use a putting mirror, and the putting mirror that helps you with everything, your ball position, your stroke. And so if you ever watch the pros on the PGA Tour, if you ever get a chance to see them before the round, before they go out on the course, they're out on the practice green. Every one of them has a mirror. Not necessarily that one, but everybody has a mirror. And it helps you get your eyes over the ball. It helps you do many things correctly.
Lovely.
And then here's another thing. Every golfer, if you're looking for knickknacks, stocking stuffer, this is the divot tool. So you got the green repair tool. You got the gigantic ball marker with your ball mark on it, and then your hat clip. You can put your ball mark on the hat clip. And so that's another present for golfers. Lovely. That you always
always repair your ball mark.
Always
repair your ball mark. That's an extremely frustrating thing.
Some golfers like knickknacks. This is my Tiger Woods bobblehead. And so I've got a couple of Tiger Woods bobbleheads. This is one of them.
Lovely.
And so if your golfer is like this kind of thing, get him a Tiger Woods bobblehead.
Beautiful.
Yep. That thing's going to be worth, I got that. I think I got it for like $6. One day it's going to be worth a lot of money. It might be worth $7.50, maybe $8 one day. And then Steve, this is for you, a Christmas gift for you. I didn't want to forget you at Christmas. And again, something that you can use.
Lovely.
There you go.
A Grizzly Tour.
Ball position golf position. Yeah. So that's what that does is here. Hold it just one more move this way. No, yeah, right.
Like this?
Yeah. Just about there. There you go. So that shows you the ball position. If you're doing chipping, you have the ball back in your stance. If you're putting, the ball is underneath your eyes in the middle of your stance. If you're hitting your woods or your irons or your hybrid, you move it up in your stance. And then the white foot on the far left, you can see the ball position there is where you have your driver. So the ball position moves in relation to the shot that you're hitting. And this is a ball position towel. And
this is a fantastic gift. And I would highly recommend this should be in hitting bays.
That
Actually,
I know. Well,
it should be at Sim Golf hitting bays.
okay, now don't tell anybody.
I won't. I'm
No,
not
no,
gonna
no,
tell
we're on a
anybody.
podcast, right? I forgot about that. Okay, so about 20 years ago, I was at the PGA show in Orlando,
Mhm.
and I saw something similar to this.
Similar.
But plagiarism is a sincere form of flattery,
That
right?
is the ultimate.
So this is not plagiarism because I've done my whole own version of this. So last winter, on a snowy couple of weeks, at home, I designed that. Went to the craft store and got my paper and designed my ball position towel, and then sent it off to China, and they shipped me back 350 of those towels at $1.05 a towel.
And you and is that a perk of being on the Grizzly tour?
Every kid on the Grizzly tour got one of those towels.
Wonderful.
Yeah, kids on the Grizzly tour, when I give them prizes, they get like divot repair tools, and they get putting mirrors, and they get alignment sticks, and they get things that I think are useful for them in their golf life.
So that's a perfect segue into the Grizzly tour for us to talk about. When does 2026, the new year, when does the tour start?
Begins in late February.
Late February?
Have to wait until the snow's gone, and late February. But we will begin in late February, and then we get right at it in March. So we go March right through until early November. And if you'll remember, in November, the first couple of weeks of November, there was rain mixed with some beautiful days in there.
Yes.
And so next year on Grizzly Tour, we'll expanding a little bit. We'll be going to a few more new courses, but we'll have two divisions. We'll have our par 3 division, and then we'll have the bigger course division.
For those that are listening for the first time to Steve Tees Off, tell us a little bit about the Grizzly Tour again, Brad, because I want it, what it's for, who it's for.
Grizzly Tour is for kids new to golf. It's for kids. We have kids as young as 5 years of age, and kids right up until 15 years of age. It's organized golf for kids new to golf, and they get a chance to come out and play golf with other kids. And as I say, organized golf, so they play in groups of 3 or 4 kids. Their parents or their coach is allowed to caddy for them. So we're not throwing them out there raw. So they're getting a chance to learn how to make pars, birdies, and bogeys, not 8s, 9s, and 10s. That's the objective. And it's also, not only is it a learning experience for the kids, but it's a learning experience for the parents, because for many of the parents, golf is new. They don't know the rules. They don't know the customs. They don't know the etiquette. So Grizzly Golf it's a stepping stone to the rest of the golf, organized golf. So we play at Kensington Pitch and Putt and Central Park Pitch and Putt some of the time. More often we go to Country Meadows on 6th Road in Richmond. We go to Tawasin Springs. We go to Golden Eagle. This year we're going to expand. We'll be letting our schedule out in early January, and we'll be going a little bit further this year. We're going to have a valley tour, and we're going to have a city tour. And so there'll be kids in the valley playing and kids in the city playing. There's a lot of organized golf in North America. We're the stepping stone. They're in the entry door. So they go in our front door, and they don't stick around for more than a couple of years. If they're really young, they'll stick around for a while. Many of the parents, they get a little bit ahead of themselves. By the time their kid is 8, I haven't seen him for a while, and I'm wondering, where did that 8-year-old go? And I find out, well, he's gone on to MJT and CJGA, which is the progression, which is the natural step. MJT is Maple Leaf Junior Tour, and CJGA is Canadian Junior Golf Association. They've gone on to play in those tournaments because their parents told them that, they're better than Grizzly because Grizzly is just for beginners. Well, young man, you're still a beginner, and you're not there yet.
Yeah.
Your dad thinks you are, but you're not. So parents should learn that kids first need to learn to have fun. They need to learn how to play organized golf. They need to learn to play by the rules. And it has to be their passion, not their parents' passion. If it's their passion, they'll stick around and they'll play for a long time. For a long time. But if it's not their passion, they're only playing because their parents told them to.
Of course.
And there are many kids I'm teaching. I'll ask them straight out, are you here because your parents want you here, or you're here because you want to be here? And there's quite a few that are there because their parents want them there.
Yeah.
And their parents have a high expectation of these kids excelling and going on to get a college golf scholarship. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. And the kids, even if they do get a college golf scholarship, if they get their scholarship and they don't make it to the PGA Tour, the kids, they quit because golf becomes so expensive.
Yes.
And they got to work. They got a job to do. They got to get to work,
Mhm.
and maybe they get married and they got to raise a family. They can't play golf the way they did when they were a kid.
Yeah.
So golf changes for the ones who don't have the passion. But the ones who have the passion, they'll play forever.
I'll hone in on one thing you said about the Grizzly Tour and it was the rules of golf, and there are rules.
Do you know how many rules there are in the game of golf?
No.
24 rules in the game of golf. There used to be 34 rules, but in 2019, the powers of the bodies of Golf Canada, USGA, the RNA, they got together and they took those 34 rules and they whittled them down to 24 rules. And that's why the rules are much easier to understand now than ever before.
And have you seen, obviously when you're dealing with the young boys and girls on the Grizzly Tour, how susceptible are they to the idea of cheating, of breaking the rules?
Well, we try to teach the kids the most important thing is get your score correct.
Mm-hmm.
So on the first tee, I tell every kid and I tell every parent, I bring the parents in close. I say, your kid's only 7. It's going in one ear, out the other. So listen.
Mm-hmm.
I said, after each hole, you go to the next tee and you ask your playing partner, what did you have on the previous hole? And if they say, oh, I had a 4, but they didn't have a 4. They had a 5 or a 6. At that point, you can go over it. Well, you hit it here and you hit it there and it went over here and it went over there. And oh, that was a 6. Usually the kid goes, oh yeah, that's right, that's fine. The problem is the scorecard is often kept by the parent and sometimes kept by the coach. I'm not accusing the coach of this, but sometimes they do. The coach wants the kid to come in with a good score because it's a good reflection of their abilities as a coach. The parent wants their kid to get a good score because it's bragging rights at private school on Monday morning. And so I watch parents cheat. I have, over the years in junior golf, we could do 5 podcasts on cheating in golf. But in junior golf, there's always some challenges. There are always people who play by their own set of rules. And usually the last people to know are the rules officials, that this kid has a propensity to cheat.
Mm-hmm.
The last person to know is usually the tournament organizers. The first people to know are the parents when they're driving home with their kid and the kid's telling you, you know what? I saw so-and-so, doing this and I don't think that's fair because he was cheating. Or they tell that to their coach. So me as a tournament organizer, I'm aware of that. But still, sometimes they don't want to tell on their friend.
Mm-hmm.
So if you turn somebody in golf for cheating, sometimes it comes back and smacks you in the butt because the person who you accused of cheating has never been accused of cheating before. Mm-hmm. But the people who run the organization think, oh, it's the other person who's accusing this guy of cheating, and this guy never cheated. It happens.
But it also happens, though, not just at the children's level. There's been cheating.
Well, it happens in amateur golf. It happens in college golf.
Does it happen in professional?
It happens in professional golf, and there's no room for it.
You have an interesting story, though, don't you? About
yeah, when I played on the Japanese tour, I made a living doing exhibitions and working for Honma Golf. I didn't make an exhibition making money playing in golf tournaments. My son can do that. I made a few cuts, not very many. Mm-hmm. And while I was traveling on the Asian tour, every stop on the tour, I'd go out for dinner with different guys from different countries, guys from Australia, Graham Marsh. He's a legend in golf. And Brian Jones and Roger McKay, and then I met Brian Watts. He won the British Open, and Todd Hamilton, and these guys all had Jumbo Ozaki cheating stories. And we'd be sitting at dinner and they'd be telling another Jumbo Ozaki cheating story. Well, I'll back up a little bit. In 1988, I was at the U.S. Open in Rochester, New York at Oak Hills as a reporter. And Richard Zokol made the cut on the weekend, and I was following Dick. And he was paired with Jumbo Ozaki. And at that time, I was starting to have a liking for Japan, and I was starting to learn the language, and I'd already been there a few times. And so here I'm following the legend of Japanese golf, Jumbo.
Yeah.
And I'm watching him play, and I'm watching Dick play, and I had no idea that during that round, Jumbo was cheating. And so after the round, after the tournament was over, the headlines in the newspapers all across the world, Curtis Strange wins U.S. Open. The headlines in Japan were Curtis Strange wins U.S. Open. Jumbo finishes fourth. In the Nikkan Gendai, one of the tabloids in Japan, in Tokyo, in that newspaper, the Nikkan Gendai sports editor Sumunara had caught Jumbo cheating. During the round, he saw him cheating. Jumbo would go up to his ball in the long rough, and he would approach it with his driver, and he would push the grass down. It's like stepping behind your ball with your foot, giving yourself a nice lie. I know you don't do that. And so Jumbo would improve his lie. Then he'd give his driver to his caddy, and he'd knock a 9-iron or a wedge onto the green.
Stiff.
And so Nada saw this, and he went and he got a photographer and a videographer. So they got it on tape. They got it on video. And so they go back to Tokyo. Headlines in Nikkan Gendai. Jumbo cheats, finishes fourth. Whoa, what's going on here? How can you say that? So they call a press conference the next week. And Jumbo, in the press conference, says they asked him about this. How could this happen? And Jumbo says, I'm Jumbo Ozaki. I don't cheat. This is Nikkan Gendai. That's a BS newspaper. That's all garbage. I don't cheat. End of story. So Nada-san phones me and said, because I knew him from the tournament, and it's a couple of weeks later, and he said, would you go meet with Dick Zokol? And because Dick was playing with him, and ask him, did he see him cheating? And so I met with Dick, and I said, did you see him cheating? He said, well, to be honest with you, he said, no. He said, I wasn't paying attention to watching him hit his shots. We never do. I'm busy on my shot, and he's busy on his shot. We trust people in the game of golf. And he said Dick was unaware of that. So that was 1988. So now I go off on the Asian tour in 90 and 91, and I get back to Japan, and I'm now writing for the Japan Times and Nikkan Gendai and other magazines, and I'm going out to all the Asian tour events, and I'm getting to know many of the players, and I keep hearing more Jumbo Ozaki cheating stories. So I approached the Japan Times and I said, at Nikkan Gendai, I said, pay me for the next 3 tournaments, and I'll go out and I'll catch them, because I know the rules. And the next tournament I went to was the Dunlop Open in Ibaraki, and I followed Jumbo for 64 of 72 holes, and he didn't cheat. Oh, I'll back up a little bit. The reason why, what motivated me to do this, one tournament, it was at Ibaraki, the Dunlop Open, and Canadian golfer Brent Franklin from Vancouver. Brent, I was there with him watching the Monday or the Thursday and the Friday, but I went back to my apartment in Tokyo, and I'm watching on TV the tournament on Saturday and on Sunday. And on Sunday, the final round, Brent was the leader in the clubhouse. There was one guy that could beat him, and it was Jumbo. And Jumbo went for the green on the par 5, and it didn't get it to the green, and the ball rolled back down into the long grass in front of the green. And I watched, sitting in my apartment in Tokyo, I watched Jumbo walk around and walk around and walk around and walk around and get all of that grass trampled down until he had a swing. Because he had to get it up and down to tie Brent to go into a playoff. He got it up and down. He went into a playoff, and he beat Brent in the playoff. That got me so angry that I had to go catch him cheating. So now, the first tournament I go to, he doesn't cheat. He's a great player. He won 98 8 times. 97 times in Japan. Once outside of Japan in New Zealand.
Mhm.
And so he's a great player. And so Jumbo, the next tournament, it's the Chunichi Crowns down in Nagoya. So I get on the train, I go down to Nagoya. And I get to the tournament, and the first guy I get out to watch, because there was a whole bunch of foreign players there. Craig Stadler was there. David Frost was there. The list that goes on, and Gary Hallberg. And I get to the first hole, there's Stadler. And then I go over and I catch Jumbo. I watch him on a par 3, but he doesn't cheat on the par 3s. I get over to the 18th hole because Jumbo was on the back 9. So I've only actually seen him play a hole and a half when he hits it into the left rough. My hobby is photography, and I get up that left-hand side, and I've got a 200 zoom lens on there, and I get in position. And as he gets up to his ball, you can see the pictures of him click, 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 as he's flexing the shaft and he's pushing it down. Remember, it's like stepping behind your ball. Yeah. And then he steps in and he hits the shot and it gets on the green. So I've seen it with my own 2 eyes. I've seen him cheat. I now can tell the story, and nobody can deny me that. And I got the pictures. So now I go into the clubhouse. I go find David Frost from South Africa. Mm-hmm. I met him a couple times. I told him, I said, David, I just got in off the course, and I said, I hold my camera. I said, I just caught Jumbo Ozaki cheating. And he goes, you what? I said, I just caught him cheating. And he says, I got here Sunday night. And he says, I go out for dinner with the boys. And all they told all dinner long was Jumbo Ozaki cheating stories. And now you come up and tell me that you just caught him cheating. I said, let's go have something to eat. So we go up and we talk, and he tells me some things, and I get some great quotes from him. Mm-hmm. Now I got to go get my story. I find Stadler, and I've known him. I've met him, interviewed him many times. So I said, Craig, I just caught Jumbo Ozaki cheating. And he looks at me and he says, and you want me to say something? I said, yeah. He says, no. He says, I love coming to Japan. I come here once a year. It's worth my time. I said, I'm saying nothing. I said, okay, because Jumbo Ozaki, he's a legend in Japan.
Like a god.
He is a god. Yeah. And so now I go find Gary Hallberg. Gary Hallberg pulls out the rule book and he shows me the rule, what it was in violation of. So now I got the rule. I got Hallberg telling me that. And so now I've got my story. I go back to my apartment in Tokyo. I write my story. I had some anecdotes as well. A few months earlier, when I was down in Tomei, near the base of Mount Fuji, and Greg Norman was in that tournament, and a guy named Hamano-san was the leader in the clubhouse. Rick Gibson was in 4th place, Canadian boy. Mm-hmm. And Jumbo had a chance to win, but he had to birdie the last hole. And Jumbo, this was told to me by many foreigners. I can't tell you their names. If I did, they would be banned from the JPGA. But as Jumbo hits his shot up is about to hit his second shot, Norman's caddy goes, Greg, look, I just saw Jumbo cheat. And Greg looks over there, and Jumbo did that. He adjusted his ball, hit his shot up by the green, didn't get it up and down. In the locker room afterwards, Jumbo and Norman were about to go. Full blast, full Fraser Ali in the locker room. And Isao Aoki had to break them up. And because they don't like each other at all. They had to break them up. And that's a true story told to me by I won't tell you their names, because if I did, they would have, but that was in my story. And so I write the story. I send it into Nikkan Gendai. Gendai's going to run it. No problem. I send it into to Japan Times. That's the English newspaper. And my sports editor, Fred Varco, Fred says to me, he says, Brad, he said, I can't believe it. He says that the editorial board, they brought in all the lawyers, they brought in all the editors. They sat there for the longest time deciding, should we run this or not? Should we run this or not? And the masthead on the Japan Times is without fear or favor. That means you got to run it. And they finally, because these guys, that's their idol. Mm-hmm. That's like Jack Nicklaus, Sam Snead, Ben Hogan, rolled into one calling him a cheater. Yeah. And so they ran it. And it went full page Japan Times Sports the next day. And then I got a call from Bunshu, which is the #1 magazine in Japan, and they did a rewrite of it, and it went full blast. And it also appeared in many countries. I sent it many places. I was syndicated many different places in those days. And Jumbo's Fading Star. That's what it was. An excerpt of it appeared in Golf Digest magazine. And Jumbo, his career just went downhill after that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no room in the game for cheating.
Yeah.
And
that proves it. On that note, we're going to bring it back and wish everybody a Merry Christmas and all the best for new golf new year. Thank riversidegolf.ca for sponsoring this podcast. Thank Brad Ewart for coming out for our Christmas episode here. It's been wonderful. We hope to see you in the new year. We know we will.
Thanks to you. Merry Christmas to
Merry Christmas.
all of our listeners. And I hope they enjoy our show. And once in a while, I'll be back in the new year.
Cool. Thank you very much. And please subscribe to Steve Tees Off. Thank you.
Thank you.